Fever Kelsey Mitchell has broken her silence about last night's game, but she wasn't the only one. Caitlin Clark had some things to say.
What happens when an athlete's body doesn't just get tired, but completely shuts down? This is a story of a terrifying medical crisis that stopped a playoff game cold, and the shocking controversy that exploded around it, exposing what players are calling a massive failure in leadership. This isn't just about one player's collapse, it's about the breaking point of an entire team. Stick around, because the truth behind this story will change how you see the WNBA forever.
Mitchell suffered from a rhabdominalis, a rare muscle injury, on Tuesday. Basically, from what I heard in the little research I did, I can't really pronounce the word too good, but you suffer from this type of injury when your body shuts down. And treatment includes IV and PT. The Cleveland Clinic says most recovery from rhamdo, but can have lingering muscle weakness for a few weeks. More on the condition.
It was a scene that sent a chill through the entire arena. Late in a critical WNBA semifinal game, Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell drove toward the basket and then suddenly crashed to the court. But this wasn't a normal fall from contact. This was something far more frightening. Players and trainers rushed over, holding up towels for privacy as a stretcher was wheeled onto the court. In that moment, no one watching, not the fans, the commentators, or even her teammates, knew the full truth. They were witnessing a total physical breakdown, a moment where one of the league's most dependable stars found her body refusing to obey her. This was the culmination of a brutal season, a shocking medical event that would ignite a firestorm of criticism and force everyone to ask one brutal question. Did the system itself push her past her absolute limit? The mystery was solved not by a team press release, but by Kelsey Mitchell herself in a raw and emotional social media post. She revealed she had suffered from something called rhabdomyolysis. She explained that her muscles had reached their maximum capacity and stopped functioning properly. The result was a sense of numbness and a paralyzing feeling that left her unable to move her lower extremities for 5 to 7 agonizing seconds. She described it as an out-of-body experience, admitting she panicked, fearing the worst when she couldn't feel her legs.
Mitchell put a message out for the fans. This is what she stated: to the Fever fans and fans of Kelsey Hoops, me letting you all know about my health is just me showing love and respect to those who showed it for me. I suffered from something called, I'm going to just say Rambo. Last night, my muscles stopped producing and reached its maximum capacity. Her body.
The scene on the court was chaotic and frightening. A stretcher was brought out, though she ultimately managed to get to her feet with help before being transported to a local hospital for treatment with 4 fluids. She wrote, "I played literally till my wheels fell off," a chilling summary of an athlete who had given everything until there was simply nothing left to give. This condition, rhabdomyolysis, is a rare muscle injury that can occur after excessive exercise without rest or due to severe dehydration. It happens when muscles break down, releasing their contents into the bloodstream, which can be dangerous. Medical treatment immediately followed, and while she reassured everyone she was walking and would recover, the image of her collapse was now seared into memory of the league. This wasn't just an injury. It was a full-scale system failure happening in real time, a stark warning about the physical limits of even the world's most elite athletes.
We know a lot of these players has been suffering major catastrophic injuries, and I believe it stimulates from Stephanie White and the way she run her defense. Granted, the Indiana Fever kick ass on defense.
But to understand how Mitchell reached that breaking point, you have to look at the fractured state of the entire Indiana Fever team. Mitchell's body didn't give out in a vacuum. She was the last star standing on a squad that had been decimated by season-ending injuries. The Fever were playing without not one, but 4 key players. Most notably, they were without their rookie sensation and number 1 draft pick, Caitlin Clark, who had last played on July 15th due to a groin injury and a subsequent severe ankle sprain. The team was stretched impossibly thin. Mitchell, an all-star who had led the Fever in scoring all season, was carrying an immense burden, trying to her injury-ravaged team through an improbable playoff run against the powerhouse Las Vegas Aces. Her collapse was a predictable outcome of an unsustainable situation, a star player forced to bear a load that was simply too heavy for any one person to carry. It's crucial to recognize the sheer weight of her contribution during the regular season. She averaged 20.2 points per game and then elevated her performance in the postseason to an impressive 22 points 14.3 points per game across 8 playoff contests. Behind her heroic efforts, the Fever had managed to win their first playoff series in a decade, but the cost of that success became devastatingly clear in that moment her body gave out.
Stretcher was brought out to the court for Kelsey Mitchell late in the third quarter. Fortunately, she was able to get up on her own will. She wasn't able to walk off. She actually had to be carried off the court. It was like a strange situation. The
pressure of the playoffs, combined with the absence of other primary scorers, created a perfect storm that pushed Mitchell past her breaking point, and that absence of Caitlin Clark became a central part of the controversy. While Mitchell was being pushed to her physical limit, Clark was on the sideline, her season cut short. This stark contrast fueled intense speculation and frustration among fans and analysts. Many believe that if a healthy Clark had been available for playoffs, the Fever's fate could have been completely different. But Clark's situation was about more than just an injury. It placed her at the center of a different, league-wide firestorm. The conversation around her absence was amplified by a stunning critique of WNBA leadership from Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier. However, the controversy surrounding media and player interactions also intensified the spotlight on the league.
This earlier, he stated, if Caitlin was out since July 15th, had returned from the playoffs, the Fever would be in the finals. Not only would the Fever be in the finals, I believe the Fever will win the damn finals.
In a separate but parallel incident, a significant controversy erupted between players and a journalist. After a playoff game, journalist Christine Brennan asked Connecticut Sun player Dejanai Carrington about a play where she made contact with Caitlin Clark's eye, giving Carrington a chance to address the rampant online speculation directly. The fallout was immediate and severe. Carrington's teammate DeWanna Bonner confronted Brennan, accusing her of disrespect, and the situation escalated to the point where the Women's National Basketball Players Association issued a lengthy public statement condemning the journalist and the line of questioning. This event highlighted the immense and often uncomfortable media scrutiny that now follows the league, particularly its biggest stars like Clark, and revealed a growing tension between players and the press in this new era of heightened attention. Collier's bombshell didn't exist in a vacuum. It was backed by other players who were growing increasingly vocal with their frustration. Indiana's own Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back, stating, "I'm just tired of our league. They need to step up and be better. Our leadership from top to bottom needs to be held accountable." Cunningham took specific aim at the league's officiating, saying the games have become like a battlefield out there and that everyone's just trying to kill each other because the referees weren't in control.
No other team in the league has suffered injuries like this team. They're literally their whole damn starting half of their team, more than half.
These comments paint a picture of a league at a crossroads, with players feeling failed by the very people in charge of its success. The public criticism highlighted a massive disconnect. Even WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was forced to address the perception of increased physicality and fan discourse, though she framed it as a league-wide issue. "I know there's that perception, and obviously we're the best women's basketball league in the world," Engelbert stated. "I think people love watching our game, and it is physical. Everyone thinks it's just Caitlin, but everybody's getting bumped." She also spoke out against the unacceptable vitriol that players face, particularly from social media, noting that female athletes often bear the brunt of online abuse. This chorus of concerns from multiple angles, from player safety on the court to the toxic environment off it, suggested that the league's leadership was struggling to manage its own rapid growth and the new set of challenges that came with it.
On Stephanie White in the front office, the injuries, and the reason why Caitlin's not playing. Because this is just my theory. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I believe that's the mentality that the front office had. Alexa with ESPN just stated Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell has been ruled out for the remainder of the game.
So, where does this leave the WNBA and the Indiana Fever? All of these explosive events are happening against the ticking clock of the league's collective bargaining agreement, which is set to expire on October 31st. This isn't just background noise. It's the central drama that will define the future of the entire league. Sophie Cunningham explicitly stated that the players are prepared for a lockout, vowing, "I promise you that we are not going to play until they give us what we deserve." This threat of a work stoppage hangs over the incredible momentum the league has gained this year, and the players are unified like never before. The feeling amongst the players is that negotiations are not going well. Kelsey Plum, the WNBPA's first vice president, expressed frustration, stating, "It feels almost more that we are presented, the further away we are." The core demand from the players is a fundamental change to the league's financial system. They are no longer satisfied with preset salary caps with modest annual raises. They want a true share of the league's booming revenue, much like the NBA model, ensuring they directly benefit from the growth they are creating. They see franchise valuations skyrocketing, with the New York Liberty now valued at an estimated $450 million, and they want their fair share of that explosion. The league, represented by Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, has made counteroffers that include dramatically increasing salaries, with potential maximum salary that could quadruple to at least $1 million. However, the players argue that without a system that ties their pay to a percentage of the overall revenue, they will still be left behind as the business continues to grow. Engelbert has publicly stated that the league wants to significantly increase their salary and benefits, while also supporting the long-term growth and viability of the WNBA. But this is where the fundamental clash lies. The league is focused on long-term sustainability, while the players feel that the time for their compensation to reflect the league's current value is now. For the Fever, the questions are just as urgent. How does an organization move forward when it appears to have both overworked one star and overprotected another? The trust from the fan base has been shaken. The future of the team depends on its ability to prove it can build a safe, sustainable, and successful environment for its players. This offseason, the front office has a dual challenge: navigate the uncertainty of the league-wide CBA while securing its own core. General Manager Amber Cox has already declared that the number one priority is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, making it clear they want her to remain in a Fever uniform. Mitchell became the team's leader and top scorer in Caitlin Clark's absence, proving her invaluable worth. Securing her long-term is the first and most critical step in stabilizing the franchise. The consequences of failure in these negotiations are immense. History offers a sobering lesson from the NHL in the 1990s. That league was also in a period of massive popularity and expansion, much like the WNBA is now. But a lockout in 1994 caused its momentum to fizzle, and it took years to recover. A work stoppage now would risk alienating the millions of new fans drawn in by stars like Clark and Reese, potentially undoing all the progress of this record-breaking season. Commissioner Engelbert has acknowledged the tension, stating she was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and that I personally do not care about them, and vowing to do better. She has also expressed confidence that a deal can be reached, even if it requires an extension past the October 31st deadline. Kelsey Mitchell's collapse on the court was a physical symptom of a much deeper problem. It was a warning. It was a stark reminder of the immense physical toll this game takes, and it underscores why the players are so fiercely fighting for a system that truly values their health, their performance, and their role in building this league. The next chapter for the WNBA and the Indiana Fever will be written in the coming weeks, not on the court, but at the negotiating table. Amidst this turmoil, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White offered a unique perspective, specifically trying to shield her young star from the crossfire. Speaking about Caitlin Clark, White said, "I hate it all for Caitlin. You know, she's a 23-year-old kid who loves to play this game, who is a pawn in a lot of other people's games and a lot of other people's narratives." White defended Clark's maturity, but acknowledged that almost no one could relate to the unique pressure and scrutiny she was facing. Her use of the word pawn was incredibly telling, suggesting that Clark was being used as a piece in a larger, often negative, game controlled by media narratives, online debates, and internal league politics. White also weighed in on the leadership debate, suggesting that the league needed more people in power who understood the modern game of basketball, stating, "The WNBA is not what was 10 years ago, and I do think that there are some folks in leadership positions who still think of it that way." Her comments framed the entire controversy as a complex clash of old systems struggling to adapt to a new, dynamic reality, with young stars like Clark caught in the middle. This perspective adds a crucial layer to the story. It's not just about injuries or fouls, but about a fundamental cultural shift within the sport, where a new generation talent is demanding that the league structures evolve faster to meet the moment and protect its players, both physically and professionally. In the end, the story of Kelsey Mitchell's terrifying collapse is more than a medical report. It's a powerful symbol, It represents an athlete pushed to the absolute edge, a team fractured by circumstance, and a league grappling with its own explosive growth. The paralysis she experienced for those few seconds is a metaphor for a leadership structure that players feel is failing to move the game forward. The conversation started by Nafisa Collier and others have ripped open the curtain, revealing the intense friction between the business of the league and the welfare of its players. But this moment is about more than just one incident. It's about a fundamental question. What is the true value of a player's body, spirit, and talent? When Kelsey Mitchell's muscles shut down, it was a biological response to an impossible demand. Similarly, when the players collectively say they are prepared to lock out, it is a league's body politic responding to a system they deem unsustainable. The treatment for rhabdomyolysis is 4 fluids and intensive physical therapy to flush the toxins and rebuild strength. The treatment for the WNBA's ailments, the players argue, is a radical financial detox and a restructuring of the very foundation of their compensation. They are demanding a revenue-sharing model that directly links their pay to the league's health, a concept that forces ownership to see them not as expenses on a balance sheet, but as true partners in an enterprise they are building with their sweat and stardom. The league's offer dramatically raised salaries, while significant, is seen by many players as merely treating a symptom, not curing the disease. Without that direct tie to revenue, they fear they will be right back in the same position in a few years, watching franchise values and league media deals soar while their own earnings plateau. This isn't just greed. It's a principled stand for equity. They look at the NFL and NBA, where players receive roughly 50% and 49% of defined revenue, respectively, and they see a path to a truly professional and respected sporting ecosystem. The WNBA players are currently believed to receive a much smaller share, and closing that gap is a hill they are willing to miss games for. For the Indiana Fever, this macro-level battle has very specific consequences. The organization is now under a microscope. They are the custodians of the league's most marketable rookie in history, Caitlin Clark, and a veteran star in Kelsey Mitchell, who literally gave her all until her body rebelled. How they navigate this offseason will be a case study for the entire league. They must demonstrate to Mitchell that they can build a roster deep enough to not run her into the ground. They must prove to Clark that this is a franchise capable of building a perennial contender around her, not just a team that will lean on her until she breaks. The front office's moves, or lack thereof, will be scrutinized like never before. Signing a key free agent or making a savvy trade isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a signal to their players and their fans that they have learned from the painful lessons of this season. The stakes are astronomical. The league is enjoying a level of visibility and cultural relevance it has dreamed of for decades. Jerseys are flying off shelves, games are setting viewership records, and new cities are clamoring for expansion teams. But all of this momentum is fragile. A lockout would be a catastrophic self-inflicted wound. It would stall the incredible narrative momentum, disappoint millions of new fans, and hand the spotlight back to other sports. The players are betting that the league cannot afford to squander this historic moment. The owners are betting that the players will not want to walk away from their own rising paychecks and platform. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, and the entire future of professional women's basketball is on the line. This is why Kelsey Mitchell's collapse resonates so deeply. It was a single, terrifying event that crystallized 100 smaller problems. It was a physical manifestation of being overworked, undersupported, and pushed to a limit that should never have been reached. Her courage in speaking out provided the vocabulary for a conversation that has been simmering all season. As the Fever head into a critical offseason and the WNBA heads into tense CBA negotiations, one thing is clear. The league is at a pivotal moment. It can either learn from this breaking point and build a future that truly capitalizes on its new superstars and fans, a future where players are valued as partners and protected as assets, or can risk losing the very momentum it has worked so hard to create. The choice made in the coming months will determine if this era is remembered as the moment the WNBA truly arrived, or the moment it tragically stumbled on the brink of greatness. What side of history do you think they will land on? Do you believe the players are right to demand a radical new financial model? Or is the league's approach of gradual growth the safer path? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on this developing story and see how these high-stakes negotiations unfold, Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.